go
down
down in history
as the greatest
American
demonstration for freedom in the history
in the history
of our nation.
of our nation.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here to dramatize in shameful conditions.
And see, we've come to our nation to capital to cash a check. When the representatives of our republic wrote this words of the Constitution of the Declaration. They were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall in. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will be able to agree to the unalienable rights of liberty, of the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note. Insofar as her citizens of color are considered, and instead of honoring this scant obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great valleys of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the wishes of freedom and the stability of justice. We have also come to this hollow spot to remind America of the forces, furious in
Urgency.
of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promise of decomerally. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksand of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It will be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will not be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual.
There will be neither express more tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship. The rightful whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shape the foundation of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges.
But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
We must forever conduct our struggles on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence again and again. We must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force, the marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers as evident by their presence here today. We have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricable. Bound to our freedom, we cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the defenders of civil rights. When will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horror of brutality.
We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies heavy with the fatigue
of travel cannot
gain
lodging
we cannot gain lodging in the motels
of the highway
of the highway
and the hotels of the city. Michael.
We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller jet to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their destiny by science saving for whites only.
We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote in a Negro in New York believes and he has nothing to vote.
Mike.
No, we will not satisfy, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream.
I am not unmindful that some of you have come out here of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering.
There.
Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is required. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and the ghetto of our northern cities, knowing that somehow the situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair.
I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in America dream. Live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-edited, that all men are created equal. I have dreamed that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have dreamed that one day even the states of Mississippi, swelling with the heat of injustice, swelling with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious races, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interpretation and nullifications, that one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sister and brother.
I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I will go back to the south with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountain of despair, the stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.
This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing, land where my father died, land of the pilgrim's cry from every mountain side. Let freedom ring, and if American is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the pilgrims' hilltops of Hill Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the high tilting all hands all curvaceous of
High Allegheny of Pennsylvania.
High Allegheny of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California.
California.
But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia.
Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee.
Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. Let every mountainside let freedom ring. And when
this happens, from every building and every hamlet,
From every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children,
and white men,
Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Begin.